Hey guys, Steph Sanity. Today we're going to go over every detail of my creative process to writing with depth or meaning. I'm going to use my poetry or verses as an example today, but any form of writing can apply. In fact, I use a lot of these tips and techniques for writing blog posts and even journal entries. I'm flipping through my little book of poems just to give you an idea as well as a little dose of inspiration. It's always good to start off on that note. If you get bored any time throughout this video, be sure to check the description for timestamps because I'll get into the actual writing process later in the video. But next I want to talk to you about some tools for improving your writing. It's important to have decent knowledge of writing mechanics. It's also very important to have a broad vocabulary and to get a good feel for how words flow together and how to use certain words to stimulate a certain feeling for the reader. Okay, so this may sound a little bit weird, but don't knock it till you try it. Just bear with me. I picked up this college writer's dictionary and I love to pick it up, open to a random page, and scan the page for a word that's new to me. If I come across one that I want to remember, I jot it down in a journal and I make an effort to work it into my everyday speech. I try to pick words that other people will understand, but it'll also catch their attention. This is just good for kind of encouraging wordplay and just expanding the vocabulary, which is a hobby of mine. I know it sounds weird to read the dictionary, but if you do it in that way, I swear it's fun and it's a good daily habit to keep. Next up, we have the Associated Press Stylebook, also known as the AP Stylebook for short. I was introduced to this book through a journalism class that I took in college. The material in this book is much more technical than you'll want for writing with depth. For the purpose of this video, it's a little too technical, but I had to include it because I found it amazing for learning the fundamentals. So I still recommend it to have just in your bookshelf. This next one is a classic. I'm sure you've heard of it. It's called the Elements of Style book. And if you grab one book from this video, I recommend it to be this one, and most writers will agree. I feel like all professional writers keep this within arm's reach. There's not much else to say about it except it has all you need to know condensed in just a short stack of pages. This easy-to-guide grammar book is perfect for those of you who despise studying English. If you hate to read, then you'll really love this guy. It's very to the point and it's quick to flip through to find exactly what you are looking for. These next two books are more for those of you who are the opposite. If you really enjoy studying English and curling up with a good book, these are for you. This book, Still Writing, gives you the author's experience with creative writing and her journey as an author. It's such a page turner and it'll give you an alluring perspective into the writing field. Writing Tools is packed with examples of what to do and what not to do with writing. It's a good tool to study and it's divided into chapters, each chapter focusing on a specific technique. I wanted to include a couple of books that I consider to be iconic, strictly in my opinion, of course. Malcolm Gladwell and Cynthia Bond are two of my all-time favorite writers. Malcolm Gladwell is a genius when it comes to getting to the point. He makes factual information interesting and memorable. He tells a story and I swear it sticks in my head forever. He makes research sound like a captivating story, almost like fiction. I've read several of his books, but Blink is my favorite. I've gotten so many people in my life to read this book and they all love it. Cynthia, on the other hand, her work is hands down the most colorful, poetic writing that I've ever had the pleasure of reading. Ruby is a novel, and I must say the story is pretty dark, and it's not my cup of tea, but I commend it solely for the beautiful writing. Yes, it's that good. So there you go, a fiction and a nonfiction book that I suggest reading to inspire you to pick up a pen. Okay, now that we've covered all the prep work, let's dive into the actual writing process. As I'm showing you here, a large blank page can be super intimidating. It's a lot of space to fill, and the empty space can cause you to put a lot of pressure on yourself, whether you realize it or not. So I actually recommend grabbing a smaller book, maybe one with designs around the border like I have right here, so that it's not as intimidating and you can just write small amounts and it won't get lost on the page, if that makes sense. So now that we got the right book for ourselves, then I'm just going to write a little poem here. So as you can see, that's a short verse, and then I'm actually going to move on to write a second verse on another page. Whenever I have a couple pages that are really similar in tone and topic, then I like to go back and combine them to create more meaningful pieces after the fact, but I like to write in small amounts like this, so that's why I separated this poem. I also want to encourage you to just let your writing flow and really try to reach for the right words in your own imagination, I would advise against going to websites such as Rhymer or Rhyme Zone, because it can really stop the creative process and it can make your writing look a little bit more choppy and forced, like you were really struggling to find the words, so you just kind of fit them in there and made them work. So you don't want that. So if you can see, I'm just showing you that some of my words don't completely rhyme. So if you were to look them up in something such as Rhyme Zone, then you probably wouldn't find the matches, such as sounds, surrounds, and amounts. As you can see, it sounds really nice in the poem. It sounds like it rhymes, but it doesn't rhyme perfectly. So that's just my suggestion. Really use your imagination and use the tone and topic to really guide you. Also, if you're really struggling to come up with topics or just really how you feel all around about a subject, then I would totally recommend grabbing a separate journal and doing stream of consciousness writing. And what that is just free writing whatever comes to your mind. Just spill it out on the page without even thinking about it. A good exercise to do is to time yourself each day, make it a daily habit, and just write whatever comes to your mind, no matter what it is. Even if it's just mindless thoughts, write it all down on the page, and then you'll kind of get in the flow of writing and you'll get comfortable with choosing words and just getting to know how your own mind works in a writing format. That's about all I have for you guys. If you have any questions at all, please leave them in the comments. I had a lot of fun sharing my ideas with you guys and sharing a little bit of a peek into my creative process. I really hope that you enjoyed it and that it helped you in some way. Alright guys, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day or night, and I will see you guys very soon in my next video.